All right, RS fam, it has finally happened. We finally got a chance to interview someone from Team Rivian, and not just anyone, but the Tony Caravano, Rivian's head of customer engagement. So thank you, Team Rivian, for sharing Tony with us. The following is just a segment of the full 47-minute interview, so please subscribe. We'll be rolling these out daily for the next handful of days. If you cannot wait, please join us over at rivianstories.com. Click on community, and it's right there for you to watch. You don't have to register or anything like that. And speaking of subscribing, we do have a surprise coming probably early next week that you will not want to miss. Tony shared some great information. We can't let you know now, but I will show you our reactions. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, do the bell thing, join us over on the community so you don't miss it. It's going to be fun. All right, here is our interview with Tony Caravano, and thank you again to Team Rivian. Rivian Stories family, we are so happy to be here today with a friend from Rivian. And I have been dreaming about this day since I was born, like about that long. And so thanks to Rivian and the whole team for giving us a guest. And not only that, like starting off with the best guest we could possibly have on here. And to do the honors of introducing our guest, I'm actually going to kick it over to Jimmy, because Jimmy has known our guest here, Tony, for a little bit longer than Skylar and I have. And we thought it'd be good for Jimmy to introduce Tony
great.
As a friend, and then we can go. So Jimmy, take it away.
Oh boy. So rewind all the way back to June 2019. Nikki and I went to the Denver pre-order event, and we had struck up a conversation with Meg, RJ's wife. And through that conversation, it somehow, I didn't even ask Tony how it got funneled to him. I'm assuming it got funneled from Meg. But anyways, fast forward, I don't know, about probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and Tony walks up to us and he's like, "Hey, are you guys the couple from Melbourne?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, let's talk later or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty much it. You know, like we have obviously kept in contact, and it has been great. We ended up getting to hang out. I got Nikki over my left shoulder. That's why I keep looking over here. So we got to hang out in Austin in February of 20, and we have a blast every time. Every time we manage to spend time together, whether it's over the phone, chatting, text, in person. Tony's been our guy, and we have a blast, and we are very appreciative of his friendship. And it's just cool that it's such a small world. Like the fact that he's from Melbourne, I'm from Melbourne. You know, it makes that home connection even better.
And Tony's also this guy that, for those who are unaware, who flew Rivian Joe and Kyle to Florida, to Melbourne. So Tony's become a friend to all of us. Skylar, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say two things. Number one, I think Tony, for those that don't already know him, needs an opportunity to talk about his role at Rivian and his team.
Sure.
And the second thing, and this is totally random, of course, but I know that Jimmy came back from that fully charged event in Austin a fan of hard kombucha, and I'm curious whether you had something to do with that. So
it was just there. We were happy that it was present. This is such a cool conversation. It's really long overdue. Thank you all for inviting me in and inviting us in. I grew up in Melbourne. My dad was in the Marines, so I had this affinity to this narrative that Jimmy had anyway. Grew up on military bases, and but found roots in Melbourne, Florida. And it's such a cool thing to have like this little odd connection to where Rivian sort of took its roots. But in meeting Jimmy and Nikki, we met Nikki in Atlanta when Jimmy was overseas. When he was overseas doing his military service. And to keep that connection going was really a good example to us of like this conversation that we were having back then it feels like so long ago. It wasn't. 3 years ago, this conversation around what community would mean at Rivian. And then Rivian Stories comes and the Facebook groups and some of the other online forums come, and you all told us what community could be and what it should be in many cases. And we're doing a much better job of hearing that and being more responsive to that, which is why I'm pumped to be here today. But Skylar, a little bit about our team. So I help to look after customer engagement here at Rivian, which means, really we are a part of a cross-functional group of teams that are really protecting and thinking about the customer experience. And our goal is to try to create some cool memories so that people connect not only to our products, but also to the brand. We think a lot about friends and fans of the brand because for so long we were in pre-order mode. And so many of the people that were inbounding to our team, the Customer Engagement Center, were really fans of the brand. They were people who had questions about the vehicle, so they wanted to know product specs and details. They had questions about the brand. They had questions about the mission. So we've had a really good opportunity and experience getting to know folks while they were waiting in this pretty long line. But that's now transitioned into something that's very different with key holders and owners, right? So the definition of community is now changing, and groups like yours are helping us to define what that means.
Super cool, man. There's a few follow-ups. Do you guys have any follow-ups to that before I jump in?
No.
Go for
Skylar,
it,
did
Kyle.
you have any surprise questions? I thought you were going to have a surprise question, Skylar.
Oh, you know what?
What was it? Go ahead, jump. I'll pick this back up on community. You can blast them with it if you want.
No, so this is a good one though, Kyle. And yeah, sorry about the surprise, Tony. But we actually asked people on the Rivian Stories community, what are some of the questions that they would want to know the answers to, and we got a whole bunch.
Of course.
And people kind of cheered them, voted up
like
certain
5?
questions. Yeah. But one of the top questions, Tony, is when are Kyle and Skylar going to get their R1Ss?
Oh, that is so great. I will ask a question back. They should be asking how will Kyle and Skylar get their R1S? That's a better question.
Or
One of the funnest things. I tortured Jimmy for a long time and told him that we were moving him to the back of the line, which I
2024,
clearly
right?
do not have the power to do, but we kept telling him that he was going to take delivery in 2024. And finally, I think he took it seriously a couple times. I saw his face. Small amount of joy and a little bit of torture.
Yeah, Kyle,
Yeah, well, we're not going to...
we need to watch out which list we get on, my man. We don't want to be on the naughty list.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
well,
I'm kidding.
I don't mind at all. But yeah, so we'll get to that question later because I have a couple other fun ones too.
Sure.
And I want to talk about how if the main thing you need to get hired at Rivian in an awesome role is like your hair, because your hair, Matt Solden, we have like all these people we've met like that have the most powerful hair on earth. And especially
this hair came of COVID. So I have it's actually here, like my badge. I just have super short hair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just had a super clean cut. So this is like what happened during COVID, and then I realized I wanted to be like Matt Solden, so I just let it grow, and now I won't cut it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, perfect. Well, the beard's going on too, so you just need some glasses. But here we go. I want to take it to community. And thanks again. And it's funny when we talk about like when we met Tony, you would not remember this at all, but I met you in Normal, Illinois at the event in Uptown, and you're in like a little building there, and I met you.
I remember.
And super personable, and like I'd known you for a while and I'd just met, but then you sent me on to get like the mug and whatnot. So that was so cool and that was fun. And then since then, there's just been this great community that's developed in that part in community. We know that as we have seen tons of ups and a few downs with us in the community of Rivian, one thing we've been a little bit critical of in the past is how you guys do communication to the community. And we've kind of talked about this before many times. As you know, on and offline, we've talked about this. Well, now as we get on further along, we realized that the dynamics of communication and how Rivian does that is changing and ever evolving, and it's also complex.
That's right.
And so in your role as head of customer engagement, as it involves with communication to the community, can you tell us how that's evolved for you guys?
Sure.
What you find's working, what the strategy is going forward with communications and just community, like how Rivian will do community, and just take it away on any of that.
I think it starts, if we started back years ago and long before I was here, I think the brand found its footing in storytelling. So, we've seen lots of beautiful pieces that told stories of who we are, what we stand for, how we intend to be a part of the world and to preserve it. And in that storytelling, we learned a lot about, the timeliness of narratives that we put out and the timeliness of sort of product storytelling. So when we were in that mode, a lot of it could be perfect and a lot of it could be, detailed and we could just spend pour a lot more time in that. If I take you back to the LA Auto Show, again, this is before my time, the team started off customer support and engagement with a group of engineers and product managers and designers in a room at the end of the day answering all of this inbound. I don't know that they realized how much inbound they were going to receive from showing up at the LA Auto Show, but the team of engineers and software developers and fill in the blank became the customer support team. And slowly over time, we built that team in-house. We still have the original member, the first hire. She is still a member of our team out on the East Coast, absolutely crushes it. And those tools are also now developing. So now we have a customer engagement center. I'm here in Southern California. We have a team in Normal, a team in Canada preparing to support our Canadian customers. And we also have a service team, a centralized service team, which is in Plymouth, also gearing up more and more as we service more and more vehicles. Mm-hmm. So in that story, right, is the beginning, which was as grassroots as we could, and just roll up your sleeves and whoever's in the room is the team. And now we are building out the refined sort of omni-channel approach to what supporting customers will look like. But that also means we're building out the tools. It means that we're refining the processes every day. We read feedback, we get feedback, we learn something ourselves. Some of us are vehicle owners as well. And we fix and refine those pieces. So I think at the core, we want to be able to support the customer that comes to us with questions. But to do this really well, we have to anticipate customer need also, right? So that's where some of the other outbound strategy that you're talking about comes in. And I think what you're seeing is in this world where supply chain has been so unbelievably unpredictable, I know I do oftentimes, you chase perfection again, just like we did in the beginning with the beautiful stories that we're able to tell. And I want to give you as the customer the most complete story possible. And that it's a thing that we wrestle with. I wrestle with it all the time. It's really difficult to give that because it changes every day, every week. So where we are headed now, and I appreciate you recognizing that it is evolving, we're just getting our hands dirtier. We're jumping in where the communities are engaging. You've seen some of that in some forums. We're starting to expend some of our team's resources to help answer some of the questions that are coming in to our communities and forums, and we'll do that with you all as well. And then we want to do things like this, like just informally have conversations about the brand that we love and the products that we love. And in this kind of conversation, I think you just break down these walls. We're not holding back a bunch of secrets because it's fun. We're chasing perfection. We need to stop doing that. We need to share with you, like bring you along for the journey. You're going to like some of it. You're going to love some of it. And some of it's going to be a little bit disappointing from time to time. But at the end of the day, we're going to make the best decision that we can on your behalf because we're staying really close to you and we're learning and understanding what you expect of us.
Whew, that's good. There's some good encouraging words at the end there, as far as just jumping in, being a little messier, and and the stories you guys did. I mean, so stinking good. To the storytellers at Rivian,
the brand team is amazing. Yeah,
so good for sure.
Hey, Kyle, let me tell you. Can I tell you a quick story about
Yeah.
like here, just like the ethos of who we are? And I know that last answer was long, so I'll keep this one short.
No, you're good.
But we poured over. It had to be a couple of years ago, year and a half ago, how to sign off our emails. And culturally for us, it wasn't, it was, we are, it's one team, one climb, and it is about Team Rivian. So we were so excited to have landed on Team Rivian, right? We weren't going to put an individual's name on the email. But we realized that, there were a couple of communications that didn't go the way that we really desired them to. And you all wanted more accountability. So very quickly, we put a name on the email. So, that name gets to be mine for now. We'll see how that evolves over time, but it was, for us, it was a cultural decision not to put a name on. It wasn't about, us shirking responsibility, but we were happy to be responsive to that. It's still the same team that's writing the emails. Like, we still get together as a small group of 5 or 6 and put those together. But this gave us an opportunity to be far more responsive, and I do think it actually changed and it did make a difference.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting what we've seen, the evolution, which is clear, is like, as far as you guys, like, always doing an awesome job, but then kind of responding to the different customer segments. So you have a lot of people who still haven't heard of Rivian, and they come and sign up for a newsletter, and you get those emails. And then the people, like, in our crew be like, we didn't learn anything new. Like, come on, this was like old news. And then, tell us something new. And I'm like, wow, these guys can't win. And so it's been interesting, though. Like, now we see RJ's always posted, but it's awesome that some of that, not less than perfect, just like posting, like, here's some information, like RJ's been able to take on, to where it's not like so produced as like the brand team is like watching a Hollywood movie, and RJ just could like talk about the Enduro motor this weekend and stuff like that. So that's super strategic. And then what we have said at times is, like, for the crazy people like Kyle and Skylar and Jimmy, we would love a conversation. So less publishing and more like in forums and this. So, and now you're here. Yeah. So testament to you guys, like, now they're here and they're getting involved in the forums and whatnot. So kudos and thank you, Team Rivian and Tony and everyone. Skylar and Jimmy, any other kind of follow-ups on community?
I just have one comment, and Tony, I love that you said this about bringing the customers along on the journey, because I do feel like that so much of the customer base are fans of not only the vehicles, but Rivian's mission and everything else. And in my opinion, the customers being part of that journey just builds loyalty and a stronger relationship with Rivian. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. No, thank you, Ben. And I don't want to be trivial about COVID, but one of the things that we lost in COVID was this wonderful opportunity to connect and engage in person. And I think that for me was magical, right? My first encounter with Rivian and its community was at the New York Auto Show. And that was just unbelievable moment to me to watch how people reacted, not only to the products, but to the people who literally helped make them. So we are trying to redefine and kind of recapture that magic. And I think this is going to help us get there.
I agree. The company and Rivian employees can get energized from the customer base, and same thing in reverse, right? Customers get energized and excited when having interactions with the company.
I think that's fair.
Man, the stinking community, we use the word family here at RS a ton. And I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. We've talked so many, like, we all have like 100 new contacts on our phones of people who aren't just like acquaintances, but like legit friends now. Tony, I was talking to you sometime recently about Skylar and Jimmy are like some of my close friends now that I mean, it's like totally nuts. I got Scott showed up on my driveway on Friday on his way back from Bloomington with a Rivian, and that was horrible, y'all. I mean,
that's why he did it.
Oh my
Hey, Scott,
gosh.
well done, brother.
Talk about like
Teasing.
torture. What a festival. Oh my gosh. To see a Rivian in my driveway. And my hands were shaking as I was showing my friends. They're like, Schultz, your hands are shaking. I'm like, I know.
What'd you think of his configuration?
Well, so he has L cap and all that, but he was actually driving a loaner, which is awesome that loaners are now R1Ts. So he had some of them. Yeah, he had
Not
Glacier
all
White
of them.
on the
Thank
dark
you,
20s.
thank you, Skylar. Some
Yeah.
of them. We
Yeah,
still
I was sorry.
have lots of folks that want their first one. So
Yeah, I
some
know,
of them
exactly.
for sure.
But he had Glacier White on dark 20s, which was amazing. We spent 2 hours together. You know what I mean?
Love it.
And I mean, the week of March 1st is like example numero uno about how much this has become a family as far as like some of the heartache that week and how we all went through together. Like the community has been a super special part of Rivian, especially for just a brand new, and it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. And it's super fun to be a part of it. And you guys are doing great.
How do you all see? One of the things we're fascinated by is, again, the friends and fans of the brand, right? They move with the funnel sometimes, but sometimes they want to remain friends and fans of the brand. They love what the brand stands for. They love the mission, and they connect with it. We now have reservation holders. So you were talking about the segmentation strategy and how do we tell you something that keeps you riveted, but also tells them something that they've never heard before. So we're working through that. We have an amazing group of marketing leaders here that are working on all of those strategies and putting those pieces together. I'm curious for you all, how do you all sort of nuance the way you engage? You have new members of this community, and you have folks that have been here since the beginning. How do you all balance that?
That's a great question. And Tony, I mean, a lot of the, I would say, newer to Rivian members have the same questions that we had a long time ago. And that's one of the really cool things about community and the potential role of community is, the jaded veterans like us can help answer those questions because we already know the answers and people don't even have to go to Rivian for that. And I feel like that's a big part of the value of community to the larger customer base and also to Rivian.
Perfect answer.
All right, that's it for this one. We can't share the rest until later. Please subscribe and follow and do all that stuff. We can't wait to share it with you. Thanks again to Team Rivian. Thanks again, Tony Caravano. We'll catch you next time.